Is there anything you'd like to say at all about wearing that LA Dodgers hat last week and getting into hot
LA
water?
Dodgers hat, hatgate. Well, firstly, I would like to apologise to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes. But the other piece to this was, as you could probably relate, when you're missing a lot of hair on top and you're sitting under floodlights, you'll take any hat that's available. So, Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, I was Blue Jays throughout. Now that I've admitted that, it's going to be really hard for me to return back to Los Angeles. But no, I'm very sorry to the Canadian public. Devastated that the Blue Jays lost, but go Jays.
All right, did you hear that? Prince Harry just served the kind of shade that deserves its own standing ovation. I mean, this was pure, calm, effortless savagery, wrapped in charm, humor, and class. Harry didn't just respond to the UK tabloids and trolls who had meltdowns over hatgate. He laughed in their faces while wearing another hat. Literally. So, let's rewind a little, because the story behind this moment is just as ridiculous as the way the tabloids spun it. Remember when Harry and Meghan showed up at that Dodgers game in LA almost a week ago? They were just having a lovely date night, relaxed, happy, enjoying the World Series, probably thinking, hey, what's more American than baseball, right? Well, apparently, that was enough to send the UK tabloids into an international meltdown. The Daily Mail and all their usual sidekicks started screaming about betrayal and fury from Canadians. You know the drill. Their outrage machine never misses a day off. They actually wrote this headline before Harry even touched down in Toronto. Furious Canadians turn on Prince Harry as he announces Toronto visit days after supporting the Dodgers at the World Series. Oh, please. Furious Canadians? Who exactly are these Canadians they're talking about? Because every actual Canadian I've seen online has been nothing but warm and welcoming to him. The only people fuming were sitting in their offices in London, desperately trying to make hat betrayal a global crisis. And then came the other tantrum, the one where the tabloids pretended to be outraged that Harry and Meghan were given the best seats in the house. The Daily Mail even ran that headline. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have left Dodgers fans far from impressed after being handed the best seats in the house for a front-row date night at Game 4 of the World Series. The level of pettiness. These people can't decide whether to be angry because Harry exists or because he got invited somewhere important. You just know they were sitting there muttering, why do they always get the best seats? Well, maybe because they're Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, global names who get invited by owners and organizers personally. It's called being relevant, something the tabloids clearly can't relate to. So naturally, the British press went on their usual rampage. How Harry betrayed Canada by supporting an American team. How Canadians feel snubbed, and all those manufactured emotions they try to sell to the public. And then, Harry being Harry, cool, calm, charming, decides to respond while in Canada. And he didn't need to rant, he didn't need to clap back on social media. Nope. He did it with humor that sliced deeper than any insult could. When the Canadian journalist asked about the Dodgers hat, Harry starts off with this perfect deadpan line. Firstly, I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. And right there, the audience starts laughing, because they know exactly what he's doing. He's poking fun at the ridiculousness of it all. He's mocking the faux outrage, without even saying a bad word. Then he adds, I was invited to the LA Dodgers dugout by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. Boom. Translation? I wasn't in the cheap seats. I was invited by the boss. Stay mad. And then came the grand moment. He takes out a Blue Jays hat and says, I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes. That was witty, thoughtful, and perfectly timed. And honestly, only Harry could pull that off. Humble, but still making a point that completely humiliates the tabloids without even mentioning them by name. Then, oh, he wasn't done. He drops the best line of all. When you're missing a lot of hair on top and you're sitting under floodlights, you'll take any hat that's available. Absolute comedy gold. That's self-aware humor, the kind that only someone totally secure in themselves can pull off. And the best part? You know the haters were expecting him to sound defensive or angry, but he flipped it, turned it into a joke, and won the room instantly. Now, let's talk about what this really represents. This isn't just Harry defending himself over a hat. This is Harry showing how irrelevant the UK media's noise has become. They tried to create outrage out of absolutely nothing, and he turned it into a feel-good, funny, viral moment that made everyone watching like him even more. This is the difference between Harry and the people attacking him. He radiates ease, confidence, and connection with real people. They radiate bitterness and obsession. The Daily Mail thought they could paint him as facing backlash in Canada. Instead, Canadians were laughing with him, not at him. And the irony? These are the same British outlets that constantly whine about free speech and light-hearted fun. Yet when Harry wears a baseball cap, suddenly it's a national scandal. You can't make this stuff up. But here's the real truth. What they're mad about isn't the hat. It's that Harry and Meghan continue to thrive no matter how hard they try to drag them. They looked radiant and in love at that Dodgers game. The crowd adored them. Even the MLB's official account posted about them. The whole world saw two happy, confident people enjoying life. And that's what triggers the UK press more than anything. They can't handle seeing Harry free. They want him miserable, apologetic, begging to be accepted back into the royal fold. But what do they get instead? Harry cracking jokes in Canada while being cheered on by everyone around him. It's poetic justice, honestly. The same people who spent years telling him to move on are the ones who can't stop talking about him. The irony is chef's kiss. And Meghan? You just know she's probably grinning ear to ear watching this unfold. Because this is how you handle nonsense. With humor, class, and a wink that says, I see you, and I'm not bothered. It's the same energy she had when they were mocked for being uninvited to royal events, and they just kept working, kept winning, and kept showing up looking effortlessly unbothered. This is why people are gravitating towards them more and more. They don't fight fire with fire, they fight with grace and laughter. Even better, Harry's doing this in Canada, a place that's clearly special to both of them. Toronto, after all, is where their story really began back in the Invictus Games days. It's where the world first saw them together. So him being there again, charming everyone, and joking about a hat? That's just beautiful symbolism. He's come full circle, and he's completely at ease in his own skin. And notice how genuine he is when he says he's devastated the Blue Jays lost. He's not mocking Canadians. He's embracing the spirit of it all. That's why people like Harry, he's relatable. He's not standing there pretending to be perfect or lecturing anyone. He's just being himself, with that down-to-earth humor that we all saw in his early royal days. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the British media is probably drafting their next headline. Defiant Prince Harry wears Canadian cap after hat scandal. Because you know they can't let go of their imaginary crises. And it's not just the media. The trolls, those professional haters who spend all day online pretending to defend the monarchy, are the same ones foaming at the mouth over a hat. A hat? Yet they'll turn around and praise royals who take private jets to climate events or dodge accountability for real scandals. That's the hypocrisy people are finally seeing, and that's the turning point, isn't it? The public isn't buying it anymore. These constant smear campaigns, the exaggerated outrage, they're losing their effect. People are tired. They can see who's living authentically and who's performing. Harry and Meghan's direction has always been clear. They want to live freely, contribute to causes they believe in, and raise their family away from toxicity. And moments like this, light-hearted but meaningful, show exactly why they're winning hearts again. Harry doesn't need a palace backdrop or royal title to command attention. He just needs a microphone, a bit of humor, and the truth. The rest handles itself. The UK tabloids can try to twist it however they want, but the world saw what really happened. A confident man with a sharp wit and genuine charm, making everyone in the room laugh, while subtly reminding the press that he's doing just fine. And here's what's even more telling. Look at the comment sections under those Daily Mail articles. 95% of the comments were dragging the story itself. People aren't falling for the nonsense anymore. They're calling out the ridiculousness. Even longtime readers of those outlets are saying things like, "Why is this news?" And, "He looks happy, leave him alone." That's the shift happening right now. Harry and Meghan are no longer the tabloid punching bags. They're the ones making the tabloids look unhinged. And that's exactly why the press keeps obsessing. They can't control the narrative anymore. So yeah, that little "I'd like to apologize to Canada" moment, that was more than a joke. It was a quiet victory. Harry proved that humor can be the sharpest form of power. He didn't yell. He didn't defend himself aggressively. He just owned the situation, turned the mockery into a laugh, and reminded everyone who he really is. A man completely at peace with himself and unbothered by noise. That's what growth looks like. That's what freedom sounds like. And for the trolls and tabloids who thought Hatgate was going to embarrass him, congratulations, you just gave him another viral moment to connect with millions of people who see right through your nonsense. So, to sum it all up, Harry didn't just wear a hat. He wore confidence. He wore freedom. And he wore the kind of energy that says, "You can keep talking, but I'm too busy living." And that's why, despite all the screaming headlines and fake outrage, the world keeps shifting toward Harry and Meghan's side. Because when you're real, when you're authentic, when you can laugh at yourself, no amount of media spin can touch you. Prince Harry just proved that once again, with nothing more than a baseball cap and a sense of humor.
Hi there, my name is Given, a huge fan of Harry and Meghan. I hope you enjoyed Selena's presentation. For our subscribers, thank you so much for your support, and if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly remember to do so. Have a nice time and see you in the next one. Bye.